They tried it once and they liked it and tried to hide it. Said I've been doing this for 25 years. Well, I'm not listening no more. And these friends, they keep asking for more. Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. So, I'd like to do something here. I'm going to, I think the title says that this is Elizabeth Warren's VP pick. So, that was obviously a very, it was a very nice thing. And that thing in the court yesterday, but the entire sentence and stuff, it will stick with me. And they showed mercy on her, which made a big difference to me. I don't know. This really video is not about this, but that it's about telling you who Elizabeth Warren's VP pick is going to be. And I do think Elizabeth Warren's going to win the primary. I think she's going to win it all, dude. I really do. I know nobody thinks this. My wife keeps telling me that when she talks to people at work, nobody is talking about her. But I do believe Elizabeth Warren's going to win the primary, and then she's going to win the whole thing. So, And I have a very strong feeling. I usually when I believe something, I think I know everything. So, but I know this. I do. I know it. I know who. I have a extremely high degree of certainty that I know who her VP pick is going to be. So we'll find out if I'm right. We'll come back to this video, and I don't want to talk about too much other stuff in this video. I'm doing this kind of very quickly. I don't know. I've been watching this. Not watching it, but it shows up in my feed quite a bit. The Hill TV with Krystal Ball and Sager. I forget his last name. These are the two individuals on this show. The Hill. This doesn't have anything to do with what. This show, and I don't know why it pops up in my feed a fair amount. It just caught my attention, but part of it is because how much it trashes Elizabeth Warren. You can't trust anybody, nobody. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this video, I was going to do some silly thing with an envelope and put the name in there and then see if I'm right. But I'll just tell you who her VP pick is at the end of this video, Elizabeth Warren. And I have, I do have a very strong feeling that I'm right about this. And I think it's a good choice. I do, for her to win. And normally I'm a Republican, okay, but I just don't care about those things as much as I used to, and I just don't think that stuff matters. I think it's all about the money, and actually it's one of the reasons I kind of like Elizabeth Warren is because she seems like one of the least corrupt persons, and that she actually kind of gives a shit, And that's not to say that every single other candidate doesn't, I don't think Bernie's a bad guy, even though I just don't know, And these people seem to like him a lot, and they like Tulsi Gabbard, and I definitely do not trust Tulsi Gabbard at all. And I don't know, man. I'm just very suspicious of how her name gets thrown out by Trump people. And she seems to be quite, superimposed over Trump, but she calls him, names and stuff too. It's just, I don't trust it all. And these people love her. So, but it's crazy to me when I was watching this, reading this article about John Solomon, who's hugely pro-Trump. He's on Sean Hannity all the time. He's a regular honest guest. He reports almost exclusively on things that are pro-Trump. Article, just so why I was reading the article to begin with, is largely about how this guy's work indirectly sort of led to this whistleblower complaint. I mean, it says the Daily Beast, which is definitely a liberal outlet, fairly. Leaked memo colleagues unload on John Solomon, the Journo, who kicked off Trump's Ukraine conspiracy. And then it goes down here and it says, and now, thanks to several mentions in the whistleblower complaint, his work has come under intense scrutiny following the revelation that a series of his stories about Ukraine, along with his Fox News appearances promoting them, may have led to the president asking Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to team up with Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani to investigate the Biden family. So no, that's what the article's kind of about. But when I was reading about this article, it also tells you that he was brought to the Hill. One of the main reasons, which was to launch this service, launch this Hill TV Rising with Krystal and Sagar. I don't know if it's specifically the show, but most of the videos on this channel is this show. It's almost like a Good Morning America or to the Today Show, has a catchy tune to it as they start their show and stuff. It's totally bogus, man. And but so they're covering the Democratic primary, but one of the main persons launching this service, this streaming service, is this super pro-Trump dude, John Solomon. And I mean, that's just what it says right here. So when I saw that, it made perfect sense to me why these people on that show are routinely trashing Elizabeth Warren. He was hired away from now defunct news site Circa in 2017 to help launch the Hill's over-the-top streaming service Hill TV. Solomon split his time between digital video strategy and running his own one-man conservative investigative unit, pumping out stories destined for Hannity's show and inevitably the eyes of the president. And then it goes on to say that he's stepping down. He's going to, because his name is, he says he's stepping down to start his own media company. But he's going to stay on to consult for that show. That's one of his duties that will remain in place. Earlier this month, Solomon announced that he will leave the Hill to create his own startup media firm. In an email, the staff obtained by the Daily Beast, he seemed to attempt to quash any suggestion that his departure was related to his reporting problems, saying that he had agreed with Hill CEO Jimmy Finkelstein months ago that he would depart, but stay on as a consultant for Hill TV. So. Anyways, and then I saw I remember the story about Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh supposedly said something about this girl. I'm just trying to explain to you that you can't trust anybody, and then I'm going to tell you who Elizabeth Warren's VP pick is. About Rush Limbaugh supposedly brought her up in one of his episodes. I listen to Rush Limbaugh while I'm working every day. I listen to talk radio nonstop. Even now, even though I've completely turned against Trump, and talk radio loves Trump, but I still listen to it because I want to hear the news. But I didn't hear this particular part. But he brought up, that there's some racy photos of her back, and actually, and Rush Limbaugh supposedly, mischaracterized it. Her age being 14 or 15 at the time when it actually was her when she was in college, which Rush does not do. Rush does not make those kinds of humongous blunders. He doesn't. What I'm trying to tell you is it seems to me to be completely staged. Completely. Why are you telling me that Rush Limbaugh and Rush Limbaugh's producers don't know that John Solomon is one of the driving forces behind? John Solomon, who is almost an exclusively pro-Trump reporter, is one of the driving forces behind the show, but he decides to single out one of the female co-host on it, who's actually sort of the main host of it, and to put out this thing on his program to his 26 million viewers or whatever he has about it, and then she responds to it in this episode here, which I'm not going to play. What I'm telling you is you can't trust anybody, dude. It's totally bogus. And again, these people, this show routinely just trashes Elizabeth Warren nonstop. And why? I just don't. I'm not going full bore Elizabeth Warren, but I do kind of like her. Okay, and that's not easy. On my channel, most of my channel are pro-Trump people, and they're going to make fun of me for that, but I do. And I like the wealth tax, and I understand there's complications. I saw Yang's response to it saying that it's a disaster and it's completely undoable. But actually, the things he said, you could say those same exact things about enforcing just the regular income tax code. Before any change to the income tax code, same thing. Everything's going to have to be accounted for, and so I just didn't. I like the wealth tax. It makes perfect sense. It makes sense to every single person who doesn't have over $100 million. Okay, but and yet it still seems to fail. What does that tell you? People who say that this is socialism, dude. People who are worth over $100 million, they have benefited. They have taken more out of the government than poor people by a crazy amount, tons more. Believe me. Okay, yeah. It's like a tax on the government, if you ask me. All those people, those 75,000 people that are worth more than $100 million, they're like the government, dude. Believe it. So every other 349 million, whatever it is, up to the other 75,000 people that actually are worth it, everyone else benefits from it. So why? Who would be against that unless you just are silly, unless you allow somebody else to, trick you into believing that it's not in your best interest when it would be. And I'm not for it. I'm just telling you, I'm for it. I think that people with that much money, who are against that sound to me a little bit greedy, And so I think that, and I like her majorly positive attitude. I like her. I just like her when she's talking on stage. When I see her, that's what tells me. That's why I think she's going to win. I think she has a genuineness to her, and that she she's not corrupt. That I think that appeals to people, and it appeals to me too. Even though I don't believe with all the other social stuff, maybe, most social stuff I don't care about one way or the other. All right. This video is a complete mess, and it's not very good, but that's life. So I was going to write down, like the VP's name and put it in this envelope, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you who it is. And I think it's a solid pick, dude. And I've in terms of achieving a win, first off, and a balance, and what she needs to do to get the prize. I think it's Eric Holder. I think Eric Holder is going to be her VP pick, and I think they're going to win. I think she's going to be the next president of the United States, and I think Eric Holder is going to be the next vice president of the United States. And that's it. That's the story there. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.